All right. Ready to become a communication ninja.
Ooh, I like that. A communication ninja.
We're diving deep today into How to Talk to Anyone, the book by Leil Lowndes. It's packed with all these cool techniques,
Yeah.
but we're just going to focus on the ones that'll help you make a killer first impression.
Yeah, it's a classic, this book. And Lowndes, she really gets into, the nitty-gritty of how we communicate. And it's all, backed by psychology, all these specific strategies.
Yeah, and that's why we're diving deep. Okay, so first impressions. We all know they matter, obviously.
Everything, yeah.
But how do we make sure we're putting our best foot forward from the get-go?
Well, Lowndes, she talks about, this concept called thin slicing. Have you heard of that?
I have, yeah.
It's basically how our brains size people up, instantly.
Right.
Based on, just a tiny bit of info. So think about it. When you meet someone new, right, you immediately get a sense of them based on what they look like, their body language, those first few words they say.
So our brains are basically constantly scanning,
Totally.
trying to figure out friend or foe, trustworthy, suspicious.
Exactly.
Oh.
It's a survival mechanism,
Yeah.
it comes from, way back when.
Right.
Our ancestors. And because of that, those first few seconds, man,
Yeah.
they are crucial.
They are. And Lowndes has some really cool techniques to kind of make those seconds count.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Like the flooding smile.
Oh, yeah.
I read about that one. It's not just an instant grin, right?
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
So instead of plastering on a big smile,
Right.
the second you meet someone, you kind of let your smile spread slowly across your face.
Yeah.
It might seem weird, but studies show this delayed smile actually seems more genuine,
Interesting.
more sincere.
So imagine you're at, I don't know, a networking event or something. Yeah.
And you spot someone across the room, you want to connect with them. You don't just hit them with this megawatt grin right away.
Right.
You approach, and then the smile just kind of slowly lights up your face.
Yeah.
More inviting.
Exactly. Less overwhelming.
Right.
It puts people at ease,
Yeah.
It encourages them to open up to you.
That's great.
Yeah.
For anyone who feels awkward, or nervous in social situations,
Yeah, big time.
just little tweak,
Mhm.
that can make a big difference.
Huge difference.
Okay, so flooding smile, we got that. Now let's talk about sticky eyes.
Ooh, sticky eyes. Yes.
We all know eye contact is important,
Crucial.
right?
Yeah.
But Lowndes, she takes it a step further.
She does.
Which,
So it's not just about glancing in someone's direction, right?
Right.
It's called sticky eyes because you're basically holding your gaze a little longer.
Then normal,
Yeah.
but not in
Yeah.
a creepy way.
Right. Not staring them down.
No.
Okay.
But a steady, engaged
Yeah.
eye contact that just shows you're interested.
Right.
And it builds trust,
It's you're really seeing them.
Yes.
Not just looking through them.
Yes. And it's powerful. you know.
Yeah.
For the other person, it makes them feel
Yeah.
they're the only one in the room,
Think about it. Haven't you ever had a conversation with someone and their eyes are just darting all over the place?
Oh, yeah.
It's you just feel they're not even listening or they'd rather be somewhere else.
Totally. Total rapport killer.
Yeah. So sticky eyes is the opposite.
Yeah, it shows you're present, engaged,
Right.
that you care about what they have to say.
I like that. I'm going to try that. It seems so simple, but
Yeah.
I can see how it could really change how people,
Oh, yeah.
perceive you.
For sure.
Okay, so we've got flooding smile and sticky eyes. Two great tools for making a strong first impression.
Absolutely.
Now, what about small talk? Something most people, I think, kind of dread.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But Leon says it's the gateway to deeper connection.
She does. And you know what? She's right.
Okay.
Because it's how we build that rapport, find common ground,
Yeah.
signal that we're open to connecting further. It's the appetizer
Yeah.
before the main course. Maybe not the most filling, but
You're right.
it sets the stage for the whole meal.
Okay. So how do we make sure our small talk is actually, engaging, not just mindless chatter?
Well, Lowndes, she has this great technique called never the naked hello.
Never the naked hello. Okay.
So you never just greet someone with a plain like hi or hello.
How boring.
It's like impersonal.
Exactly, impersonal. Like you're not even trying.
So instead, you follow it up with, a comment or question that's like tailored to them. Shows you're paying attention.
Okay.
So like instead of just hi, how are you?
Right.
You could say something like, hey, I love those shoes.
Oh,
Where'd you get them? Or, hi, I heard you gave a great presentation yesterday.
Right.
Congrats,
So just kind of moving past those generic greetings.
To find something specific.
Right.
Shows you're actually present
Yeah.
in the conversation.
Makes them feel seen, heard.
Totally. Key part of rapport.
Okay.
Now, another simple but like crazy effective technique, the parroting technique.
Parroting technique. Okay. Is it like
It is.
as literal as it sounds?
It kind of is.
Okay.
So you listen carefully to what someone's saying, and then you just repeat their last few words as question.
Okay, so say someone's like, I had the craziest weekend, went hiking in the mountains.
Yep.
And you'd be like, hiking in the mountains. Right. That sounds amazing. Where'd you go?
Perfect. See?
Okay.
It might feel a little strange at first,
Yeah.
but it works. It shows you're really listening.
Yeah.
And it encourages them to, tell you more.
It's like a subtle way of saying, tell me more, I'm interested.
Exactly. And you know what? Most people, they don't even realize you're doing it.
Right.
It just comes off as genuine interest and good listening skills.
It's like a secret weapon for making people feel heard.
Totally.
Okay, I like that.
Yeah.
So we've got first impressions, the magic of small talk. Now, what about nonverbal communication?
Ooh.
Our bodies, right?
Yes.
They're always sending messages.
Oh, constantly, whether we realize it or not.
Whether we realize it or not.
Yeah.
Okay, so Lowndes, she dedicates a whole section of the book to body language.
She does, yeah.
And some of her tips are surprisingly impactful. One that I remember is the big baby pivot.
Oh, the big baby pivot. Yes.
Okay. I'm picturing a baby. Help me understand.
All right, so think about how a baby gets your attention, right? They turn their whole body toward you.
Right.
Right. So Lowndes, she suggests we do the same thing when we're interacting with someone.
So instead of just turning my head to face them, I
Turn your whole torso.
turn my whole torso.
Yeah.
Okay.
Might seem a little much, but it subconsciously says hey, I respect you.
Right.
I'm paying attention.
Okay.
When someone's only half turned towards you, it just feels dismissive.
Yeah, they're not really there.
Exactly. They're halfway out the door already.
Right.
The big baby pivot, on the other hand, makes the other person feel they matter. They're heard.
So just that shift in body language can really change the dynamic.
Big time.
Okay.
Now, here's another tip that can make you seem instantly more confident, more in control.
Okay.
Ready?
Yeah.
The power pause.
Power pause. Okay.
So before you respond to someone, especially, in a professional setting,
Right.
take a beat.
Just resist that urge to
Just the urge to blurt.
blurt it out.
Yes.
Okay.
That pause, even if it's just a second or two, it projects composure. It makes your words seem more weighty,
Right.
important. It shows you're thoughtful, measured,
Right.
not just reacting.
So you're choosing your words carefully.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it gives you a chance to rehearse in your head what you want to say.
Right.
Make sure it's aligned with your intentions.
It's like having an internal editor
Yes.
for your words.
Exactly.
I like that.
That's like proofreading your thoughts before you hit send.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It really is like having, an internal editor for all your words.
Okay.
So we've covered those first impressions, the art of small talk,
Yeah.
the power of nonverbal cues. What's next in our, journey to becoming master communicators?
All right. So now that we've laid the groundwork, I want to talk about, how to actually connect with people on a deeper level, because it goes beyond just those initial interactions, right?
Oh, for sure.
It's about building real rapport.
Absolutely. And Lowndes, she has some really fascinating insights into how to do that.
Okay.
Create those deeper bonds. One of the most effective things, I think, is to speak the other person's language.
Okay. I'm interested. Tell me more about this.
Literally and figuratively. She calls it tribal language.
Tribal language. Okay.
So the idea is that every group right? Whether it's, I don't know, a profession, a hobby group, a sports team, even a family.
Right.
They all have like their own, lingo, their inside jokes, ways of talking to each other.
So it's like learning the secret handshake to get into the club.
Exactly.
Okay.
And when you can, like, use those terms, the phrases that are like familiar to that group, it shows that you get their world.
Right.
And it helps you like fit in faster.
Right.
It's like you're speaking their, dialect, and it creates this like instant camaraderie.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Right.
But how do you do that without sounding like you're trying too hard or being fake?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think it's about being authentic,
Right.
respectful, don't force it, don't use terms you don't like actually understand.
Right.
But even just like a little effort,
Yeah.
to learn the basics of like a group's tribal language can really go a long way.
So, like, if I'm talking to a group of, I don't know, musicians, I might, like, brush up on my musical terminology.
Exactly.
Right? Or, like, I'm at a tech conference and I just kind of, like, get familiar with some of the jargon.
Yes. And you don't have to become like fluent overnight, right?
Right.
Just like a few key phrases, references can signal that you're like trying to, meet them on their level.
Yeah, it's like showing up to a party wearing the right, attire. You feel more comfortable, you fit in.
Exactly. Exactly.
Okay.
Now, here's another technique that can be really effective in building rapport,
Okay.
but needs to be like used carefully. Strategic name dropping.
Ooh, strategic name dropping. That sounds a little, like, dangerous.
It can be.
Isn't that usually seen as, like, a way to just, like, impress people?
It can be. It can be if it's not done authentically.
Right.
The idea is not to like brag or
Right.
inflate your importance.
Right.
It's about, finding those genuine connections, establishing common ground.
So how do we do it right?
The key is to use it to like build bridges, not walls.
Okay.
So for example, like if you're talking to someone and you realize you both know the same person,
Right.
mentioning that mutual acquaintance can like instantly create this, sense of familiarity.
Right, like you have a shared connection.
Yes, exactly. Like you've discovered this like thread in the, tapestry of your lives.
Right.
Right. And it's not just about people you know personally.
Right.
It could be a book you both read, a restaurant you both love, a podcast, whatever, a shared interest.
So it's about finding those, like, little links, those
Fun links. Yeah.
subtle links that just say, hey, we're on the same wavelength.
Exactly. And those like little connections, they can be powerful bridges to like deeper conversation and a sense of like kinship.
Yeah, I'm starting to see how all these, like, little techniques, they can really add up to create a more, like, engaging and impactful communication style.
Totally. It's like building a toolkit
Yeah.
for social success.
Yeah.
One tool at a time.
I like that. Like,
Yeah.
we're putting together our own, like, communication Swiss Army knife.
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
And here's another versatile tool for your kit. Mirroring.
Mirroring. Okay, I've heard about this. It's about, like, subtly matching someone's body language.
You got it.
Right.
So Lowndes, she talks about this.
Mm-hmm.
And there's actually a lot of science behind it.
Okay.
When we like subtly match someone's, posture, their gestures, their tone of voice, even like their breathing,
Wow.
it creates this like subconscious sense of connection and like harmony.
So you're, like, speaking the same body language, even if you're not
Sure.
saying anything.
Exactly. And it is like crazy effective in building rapport,
Okay.
but there's a catch. Okay.
Okay.
It has to be subtle and natural.
Right.
If someone catches you like blatantly copying them,
Right.
it can really backfire.
Right. So don't be like a mime. Don't.
No mime.
Don't
Be
draw
mime.
mime. Okay.
It's like dancing, right? You want to be in sync with your partner, but
Right.
you don't want to step on their toes.
Right. It's finding that balance.
Yes, that subtle harmony, right? Makes people feel at ease.
Okay.
All right, now let's shift gears a bit and talk about making others feel valued,
Okay.
appreciated.
Yeah. I mean, everyone wants to feel like they matter, right?
Oh, absolutely. And Lowndes, she has like some brilliant strategies for doing just that.
Okay.
One of my favorites is the killer compliment.
Killer compliment. Okay.
So it's about going beyond like generic praise and offering something like specific and unexpected.
Okay. So instead of just saying, you look nice, I might say something like, That color really brings out your eyes.
Yes.
Or I love how that outfit, like, shows off your personality or something.
Now you're getting it.
Okay.
The more specific and personal the compliment, the more impact it'll have.
Right.
It shows you're actually paying attention.
Yeah.
You see them as, like, an individual, you know?
Right.
Not just someone you're making small talk with.
Yeah, you've taken the time to, like, actually appreciate something unique about them.
Exactly. And it doesn't have to be about, you know, their appearance either.
Right.
You could compliment their, you know, their work ethic, their sense of humor, their problem-solving skills, whatever.
Okay.
Anything you genuinely admire.
Right, right. So besides those killer compliments, are there other ways to make people, you know, feel valued?
Oh, yeah, definitely. You might be surprised to hear this, but asking for advice can be really powerful.
Really? How so?
Yeah.
Doesn't that, like, make you seem less competent?
No, not at all.
Yeah.
Actually, when you ask someone for advice, it shows that you, like, respect their opinion.
Right.
You value their expertise.
Right.
Makes them feel important.
Right. Like you're saying, you're the expert, I trust your judgment.
Exactly. And it doesn't have to be, like, you know, a major life decision.
Right.
It could be something small, like, you know, a book recommendation, advice on a project at work, even just, like, their opinion on something that's happening in the world.
So instead of trying to, like, impress them with my own knowledge, I'm, like, showing them I value theirs.
Yes, exactly. It's, like, a humbling act, you know, and it often leads to, like, deeper conversations, stronger connection.
Okay, I like that. It's very counterintuitive.
It is. It is.
But I'm going to try it.
You should.
Okay.
Yeah. You never know what you might learn, too, you know?
Right, right, right. Are there any other strategies for making people feel valued, especially, like, in a group setting?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
One powerful technique is to, like, highlight someone's strengths in front of others.
Oh, okay.
So, for instance, you know, you're in a meeting and someone makes, like, a brilliant suggestion. Take a moment to, like, acknowledge their contribution, praise their insight.
Right. It's like giving them, like, a public, like, pat on the back.
Yes, exactly.
Which can be really encouraging, especially for someone who's maybe a little shy.
Oh, yeah, big time. It makes them feel, you know, appreciated, respected by the group.
Yeah.
And it can just boost their confidence, you know?
Yeah.
Shows that you're, like, a generous and supportive colleague, too.
Right. Win-win.
Win-win.
Yeah.
Okay, so far we've learned about, like, making a good first impression, building rapport, making others feel valued.
But what about, like, when we have to have those, like, difficult conversations? You know, when things get, like, tense or emotional or even confrontational.
Right.
Like, that's when communication skills really get put to the test, wouldn't you say?
Oh, absolutely. Those tough conversations, they can be, like, real minefields, you know? It's easy to, like, let your emotions get the better of you.
Right.
But guess what?
What?
Lowndes. She has some tips
Okay,
for
good.
staying calm, in control.
Give me the wisdom.
Even when things get rough.
Yes, please. Okay, yeah, I'm ready. I want to learn how to, like, handle those tough conversations.
Right. Well, one of the best techniques, I think, is it's really simple.
Okay.
It's called the pause before reacting.
Okay. Pause before reacting.
Basically, like, our initial reactions, they're often driven by, you know,
Emotion.
Emotion, exactly. And those reactions, they're not always, you know, the most helpful.
Yeah.
Especially when things are heated.
Right. So instead of just, like, firing back immediately, you know, with the defensive response or whatever.
Take a breath.
Take a breath. Create some space.
Yes. Just, like, a little space between the stimulus and your reaction.
Yeah, it's like hitting the pause button on an argument before it gets out of control.
It gives you a chance to, like, you know, collect your thoughts, maybe see things from their perspective.
Right.
And choose your words carefully.
It's like choosing, like, the reply instead of reply all on an email.
I love that.
You know, you don't want to say something you regret.
It's so true.
Okay, so pause before reacting. Got it.
Now, here's another one that's super helpful, especially when you're dealing with someone who's just being, like, difficult or unreasonable. The broken record technique.
Oh, yeah, the broken record. I've heard of this. It's just, like, calmly repeating your point no matter what.
You got it.
Okay.
It might sound a little, you know, too simple, but it really works.
Yeah.
Just stay focused on your message. You know, don't get, like, pulled into
side arguments,
all that.
Yeah.
Like, you have this, like, shield, you know, that deflects all the emotional stuff they're throwing at you.
Okay. Yeah, so you just, like, keep repeating your point until they get it.
Exactly. And it's super frustrating
Right.
for the other person.
Right.
Because they can't, like, get you off track.
Right. Okay.
You just calmly and politely, repeat your point until...
Yeah. It's like setting a boundary and sticking to it.
Yes.
Exactly. I could see that being really helpful with like manipulators or,
Oh, yeah.
people who try to guilt trip you.
Big time.
Mm.
Helps you stay composed.
Yeah.
Avoid getting sucked in.
Right. Okay. I'm sensing a theme here with a lot of these techniques.
What's that?
It's like it's all about like emotional regulation,
It is.
taking back control of the conversation.
Yes. You got it. And you know what's great about these techniques? They work in all kinds of situations. Difficult boss, annoying coworker, disagreement with a family member.
Right. So it's like a universal toolkit.
It is.
For communication success.
It is.
Yeah.
That's the beauty of this book. It's full of like timeless advice.
Yeah.
Practical strategies. Anyone can use them.
Yeah.
Anyone can become a better communicator.
Well, it's been really insightful, I think, diving into, how to talk to anyone.
I agree. It's a good one.
I feel like I've learned a lot about, making a better first impression, building stronger connections, and handling those tricky conversations.
Yeah, and the best part is, like, all these skills, they're learnable.
Right.
It's not like you're born with it,
Right, you're not stuck with whatever you develop.
With a little effort, a little practice,
Yeah.
anyone can become a master communicator.
That's so encouraging.
It is. It's like, learning a dance move or something. At first, it's like awkward, you're stepping all over the place.
Yeah, you're clunky.
But then with practice, it's like smooth, effortless.
I like that. So as we wrap up our deep dive into, how to talk to anyone, what's the one thing you hope our listener will take away from all this?
I think the biggest thing is that, like, communication, it's a superpower. It's the key to, building those relationships, influencing people, and just creating the life you want. And the best part is it's a superpower we can all develop.
I love that. So to our listener, I challenge you. Pick one technique from today's deep dive and just try it out, in your next interaction, and you might be surprised by the results. Until next time, keep those communication skills sharp and remember, the power to connect is in your hands.